Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
This is the Sports Trapp Podcast, and my name is John Trapp. This is Mr. Christopher C. Rodriguez. How you doing, sir?
What it do? Thumbs up. Let's go. Getting my Springer on. You know how it is.
And, of course, behind the ones and twos, my man, always, Mr. Khoa. What up? And I got to do a little special shout-out to the little man, Joshua Cruz. How you doing, man? You're going to be helping us out. Little assistant production. Appreciate your help, as always.
He's got bad intentions. Don't
Shout out
him.
Fantasy Football. So, yeah, man. Houston Astros head into the postseason as the prohibitive favorites, and we also secured home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained, Houston? Yes, sir.
Shout out Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Freedom!
Wrong movie, Chris. Wrong movie.
Braveheart, way better movie.
Gladiator,
movie.
hands down. We'll
Way
put a
better
poll up on Instagram and we'll see what
Absolutely.
people say.
Braveheart, all day, every day.
Talking about gladiators. This upcoming NBA season will feature none other than the Houston Rockets, who started their preseason this year against Yao Ming's own Shanghai Sharks. Did anybody see the game?
I watched highlights. I did not want to watch that whole game.
Hey, listen, doubled up, nearly doubled up. 140, Houston Rockets 71. I got to shout out Montezuma's. Demo
in the house, man.
He led their stats with the in each category.
Welcome back, Demo, for a little bit. That's an old ex-Houston Rockets. And as always, we got to get in a little bit of football. Crazy week 4 in the NFL. Some remain winless. Some remained undefeated. While some teams were humbled in defeat, other teams were humbled in victory. Some of these teams came back down to earth. So we'll get in back to that. But also, I want to get into our picks. Who was right? Who was wrong? Mr. Christopher Rodriguez and Khoa, we all laid our picks. And we can't escape without talking about fantasy football. Of course we can't do that.
Somebody got their first win.
Hey, calm down, y'all. Calm down. All right. That's enough.
We're talking about bad intentions. He got his first win.
Okay. All right. Shout out bad intentions. And also, are we talking about bad intentions or good intentions or intentions well played or what? Because these Houston Texans, unfortunately, lost to the Carolina Panthers 16-10. Houston, at what point should we be concerned?
Every week we should be concerned.
All right, so let's just get straight into it, man. I don't know how else to segue into the Houston Texans, but so like I said, the Houston Texans lose 16-10, bringing us to a 2-2 overall record for the season. Kind of looks like we're heading to another 8-8, something similar to last season. But in a bright, spot. We started out 0-3 last year, and we ended up being 9-6.
There's this saying that history does repeat itself.
So first of all, I want to get into it. Let's delve in a little deeper, right? Who would you consider is most to blame for the Houston Texans loss? Is it the coach? Is it the receiving core? Is it our time manager? Is it even Deshaun Watson? What say you, Chris?
I mean, if we're going to get into who's to blame for the loss, I mean, it clearly is Bill O'Brien. I mean, the lack of game planning and adjustments seems to be the story week to week. I mean, if you break it down, the Texans have scored 78 points and have allowed 78 points. They're 1-1 at home. They're 1-1 on the road. They're 1-1 against an AFC. They're 1-1 against an NFC. Mediocre at best, right? And the crazy thing about it is that, Bill O'Brien actually thinks he's the smartest person in the room, right? And yet Texans continue to play unintelligent football with Bill O'Brien at the helms. What's worse is his salty and arrogant post-game responses to the media as if our local media is harassing him when all they're doing is asking questions that we're asking at home, which is we just want some fucking clarity of what the fuck he's doing.
Right. So that press conference, so what's the basically? You're saying Bill O'Brien's.
Well, it's like every week to week we're having the same issues, right?
Okay.
Whether it's play calling to time management, to bonehead plays, and then when he gets on top of the press conference, he's extremely narcissistic. He's angry. He's rude. And honestly, most of the questions that the local media is asking is what we're all asking at home. And so it doesn't make any sense. Like give you an example, he says that we need to play better. But truth be told, you need to be a better coach.
Yeah, there was times where you brought up clock management. First of all, we were down 3 timeouts with 4 minutes to go in the game, being down 16-10 at this point, which eventually ended up being the score. But then there was this one play which I think affected the game greater than any other play throughout the entire game. And that was right before the half. And this is when Chris, said that we needed to be better. No. This needed to be a better play call. This needed to be a better play period as far as understanding the situation. So let me just kind of give you a overview of what I'm talking about. Right before the half, with I want to say a little over 2 minutes to go, we're driving, right? We have a good balance of passing, a good balance of running. We finally make one of our best drives of the half. We run off a rushing play of 40 yards, 10 yards, a scramble play of only 1 yard, then a positive play of another 5, 10, and 6 yards. That leads us down to the 17-yard line, I believe. Then we decide, for whatever reason, we wanted to instill a trick play. At this point, keep in mind, we were 3-3. At this point, we were still tied, 3-3, right? We wanted to instill a trick play, giving the ball to D-Hop, right? And for one of the things that bothered me about any trick play, or bothers me about any trick play, is the fact that at some point you need to have a kill switch. And when you instill a trick play, it's basically you say that you see this formation, and when you see this formation, this guy is going to react this way. Like the DB will react this way. He's going to line up in a certain formation to where you are going to trick them into a situation they didn't want to be in. Right. When you react and you do that, and the DB or the defense does not react the same way that you want them to react, you kill the trick play. You just kill it. There was no kill in this trick play. They hiked the ball, gave it to DeAndre Hopkins, and he passed the ball across the field. The DB literally could just pick the football out like it was apples on a tree. I could not believe what I was seeing. And like you said, Bill O'Brien thinks he's the smartest man in the room.
Well,
that was maybe at that point showed that he may have been the dumbest man in the room there.
I mean, let's be real here. I mean, we want to know what's going on with the offense, because the offense has struggled all year long. Compared to the defense, we went into this season thinking, if anything, the offense was going to be what was going to compel them to wins, and the defense is what was going to be, I guess, what was going to concern us the most. But I think when you call plays like that, then that means already in your head, you're feeling overwhelmed. And most importantly, you obviously know that your offense is stagnant. And it looks at times like the Bill O'Brien, when he calls plays, it almost feels like he's outdated, especially compared to all the other offenses that are going on that we're seeing in the NFL. You know what I mean? And and I say this because I posed a question last week, should we be worried that Hopkins is, not getting the ball? Like, he had 5 receptions for 41 yards, And then granted, I know you're probably going to tell me that, hey, this is what, he's only calling plays based off of what the defense is giving him, but it doesn't, in real time, it doesn't feel like he's making any adjustments whatsoever. I mean, why isn't Bill O'Brien making sure he's calling plays for his best weapons? Instead of giving Hopkins a trick play to throw the ball, why don't you throw the ball to Hopkins, who can pretty much grab anything in the end zone? Why are you going to that length unless you're just not properly prepared, or most importantly, you're desperate because you're way over your head?
Well, here's my theory on not getting DeAndre Hopkins a ball. In that situation, I felt like they forced to get him involved in any situation, any play. So by giving him the opportunity to be a part of a trick play, gave him involvement within our offense. Because, like you said, were you worried about putting DeAndre Hopkins and him not being involved in the game? So they were forcing the situation, right? And they, again, didn't have a kill switch. They, again, didn't have a situation where they could motion somebody and get the defense to react the way they wanted to. All right, cool. We did not get him involved in the game. But you went 2 games, and you went 2 games in a row by going and spreading the offense out, going to Kenny Stills, going to Will Fuller, going to Kuti, going to Duke Johnson and Carlos Hyde. We did all of that, right? So we go away from that offense, which won us 2 games in a row, and we forced our situation to DeAndre Hopkins.
I mean, 2 weeks ago we implemented our tight ends, and we haven't really implemented since we have like 10 of them, and that seemed to be successful with getting the ball out of Watson's hands. Which in that game specifically, he only got 2 sacks that game, right?
Yes.
So with that being said, like, how is it that we go from there to this extreme? And that's because I just don't think that each week there's proper preparation for who you're playing against. Listen, don't get me wrong. Panthers might not be one of the best defenses in the NFL, but they're still a pretty decent defense. So, like, if honestly, we know right now the offensive line is still incapable. Deshaun Watson was sacked 6 times and hit 10 times, right? As it stands right now, Watson has been sacked 18 times. That's 4.5 sacks per game, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, more of a reason to try to get the ball out of his hand and to have better play calling for that specifically.
I don't agree, because not in that situation, because they were actually moving the ball by running the ball, by having screens. And like I said, I named out in that drive, we were actually gaining the momentum. We were actually.
What was most frustrating about that play was that was on 2nd and 4 at their 18.
Oh yeah.
So we're in the red zone.
Yeah, it was the second time, and that's another thing that bothers me.
Like,
it seems like they don't understand situational football. Out of 3 times you're on their side of the field, you come out with 3 points: a missed field goal, a field goal, and a trick play that went horribly wrong before half. We had more. We almost doubled up their yardage. Our defense was playing better, but we ended up going into halftime losing because you did not understand situational football. So it was more important to get. I don't even want to say it was more important to give DeAndre Hopkins a ball. I'm just going on what you bringing that up. But it was more important for us to do a stupid ass trick play when our offense was starting to click than it was to actually just be safe and go for 3 points. Well, be leading.
Let me ask you this. Would we even be having this conversation? Let's say if that trick play worked. Would we be saying?
I completely believe 100% we would have won the game had that never even fathomed the thought of doing a trick play.
But here's the thing. So based off of what Deshaun Watson was saying on that play, or based off of what Bill O'Brien was saying, is that they assumed that there was just going to be a linebacker over there.
And 100%.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Why didn't they have a kill switch that says, oh, that's not a linebacker. I'm not going to run this fucking play.
That's because, John, that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. It's not real strategic play calling that's going out there. And so, to me, reason why I say why we didn't get Hopkins our best player, 9 times out of 10, you throw him the outlet post, he's going to get that ball, right?
Yeah.
He can go catch that ball. Unless, if anything, there's a pass interference, right? That is that to me, that's when you get your best offensive player, not named Watson, the ball. That to me, that's why you have Hopkins in that position.
Right.
Because he's one of the few receivers that can go up there and snatch that ball.
Right.
He has those
100%.
hands.
100%.
And here's the thing. I can almost guarantee it that when the Panthers defense saw that the way they were lined up, they knew something stupid was about to happen. Because guess what? The Texans don't do trick plays at all. That's not part of Bill O'Brien's repertoire.
Well, you brought up the fact that Deshaun Watson in the press conference was explaining the Panthers defense. It's a great video.
Yeah.
Right?
Shout out Khoa. You sent that to us. It was awesome.
And he admits that they play a certain zone, right?
Cover 4.
A zone basically
Cover
means
4 to cover 2, yep.
Yeah.
a zone, just period, dumbing it down, just means that I'm in charge of this area of the field. I'm not moving. I don't care if the wide receiver crosses the other side of the field. I'm staying in my area, and I patrol this, right? If they play so much zone, why do that play? Not only did you give it to DeAndre Hopkins on the other side, but you make him throw all the way to the other side.
He's throwing across his body all the way on the other side of the field.
And then who did you have out there to catch the ball?
Carlos
It wasn't
Hyde.
another wide receiver.
Yeah.
It wasn't even our best catching running back. It was Carlos Hyde. And it does not make any sense to me. You outcoached yourself in this instance. You outcoached the situation. You don't have an understanding of time management. You don't understand. You don't have an understanding of possession. You don't have an understanding of play of the field. And to come out with all the offensive, I think we ran out 124 yards up to that point. With the great defense that Carolina is, with the great zone cover 2 and a cover 4 that they play, we were actually moving the ball. And to only come out with 3 points was absolutely unfathomable to me. Like you said, if that play would have worked, that play would have never worked. Never worked in that situation. Even if it did, why do that then? Like, best case scenario, he catches the ball. There were still cornerbacks and safeties on that side of the field. He wouldn't have got to the end zone. Period. Point blank.
I mean, and then it just goes into our whole conversations of why we say that Bill O'Brien is the reasons for these losses. I mean, let's just look at his continued time and game management issues that he's having. I mean, first, before we even get into that, let's talk about the defense stepping up. They've been stepping up, and shout out to Whitney Merciless, because just in the last 4 games, I mean, he's had 15 tackles, 3 assists, 5 sacks, and 1 interception. Whoever the GM for the Texans, please make sure you pay him. Wait, never mind. We saw what happened to Clowney. So Whitney Merciless.
Shout out to Clowney with the pick 6.
Yeah. Mr. Merciless, you may not get no mercy, because we don't like to pay our good players. We just like to let them leave or trade them for 3rd-round picks. But anyways, that being said, that defense kept us in the game the whole time, even with McCaffrey destroying us. And if you think about it, the Texans would have had some timeouts and would have utilized those timeouts, right? Especially in the final minutes when we actually were in a drive where we had a position to at least win the game, right?
So we had 3 timeouts at halftime, right?
Yeah.
How many timeouts did we have within the final 2 minutes of the game?
None.
Right.
Yeah, because he ended up using so the way it goes is that let's see, how does it go? He ended up using the 3rd and final timeout with more than 4 minutes left in the game, right? The Texans wasted 1 timeout on defense with 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, and a second one on a replay challenge, which clearly was a catch. We all saw it was a catch. The fact that
You don't think it was a catch?
Oh no, it was a catch.
It was clearly a catch.
It was clearly a catch.
I thought you were shaking your head like you didn't think it was a
Shaking
catch.
my head like, why the hell did he throw that goddamn flag?
And of course, we called a timeout because we had too many men on the field. That's horrible management.
Look, so 2 of them were to avoid a penalty. 2 of those timeouts were to avoid the penalty. The 3rd timeout was a wasted challenge, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what is the process? I really want to know. And I was trying to look it up. I tried to do a little research, but I really want to know. the process of a challenge. Who do you have up as an eye in the sky, looking at the TV monitors, telling and relaying the information down to, say, the head coach?
I know.
Who?
It's the GM.
So at some point, because this is the second time.
Or you would have your offensive coordinator up there. Oh, wait.
Oh.
The GM and the offensive coordinator is the same person.
So who's the head coach?
They're all the same. It's Bill O'Brien.
Oh, it's one of those riddles. I get it.
Yeah.
There's 3 guys walking to a bar.
Yeah.
It's the same guy.
It's the same guy.
Who's on first? Shout out to that old story. Anyways, but no, seriously, what is the process of calling a challenge? Because two times that we've done it have been and gone horrific for us. In my opinion, this situation was worse than the first one. With the first one, we wasted a timeout. Then we used a challenge after that timeout. So then that challenge was denied. Then we used the two timeouts. Now that we going back to this one where we all agree it was completely a catch, and nobody said, you know what? No, don't throw that flag. Don't throw the flag. We might need that timeout later.
Yeah, but see, that's what happens when you don't know what you're doing. You just react. In anything in life, when you don't know what you're doing, you react. And that's what he did.
They got a big-ass Jumbotron there that you watch in the replay. Why not just wait 2 seconds and see, like...
That's because he's...
a catch. Maybe I should throw this.
Hold on. Kyle Allen is not necessarily better than Cam Newton, but this guy is a smart quarterback. The first time out, he played hurry up because he saw the defense was switching out. He hurried up to hike the ball. Bill O'Brien had to call timeout. So too many men on the field wouldn't get penalized, right? Then when we did the challenge, they got up. And they hurried to hike the ball. Wow. Bill O'Brien had to make a split-second decision. And what's the trend here? He's not really making the good decisions as it goes. And then when you try to hurry him up, obviously wasn't the right decision.
I tell you what I give Kyle Allen points for is dodging that damn sack that he would have had when J.J. Watt.
He brought up Merciless. Merciless had a fabulous game. But J.J. Watt had
heartbroken, man.
Had a J.J. Watt game. He was getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. He was getting in the second gear. He had a strip sack and a fumble recovery. The defense, to me, actually played their best game as a unit.
Yeah.
I know Chris will bring up the fact that the wide receivers played good. Kyle Allen played good.
Real fast. McCaffrey rushed for 27 times for 93 yards and 1 TD and had 10 receptions for 86 yards.
No, 100%. You're right.
So shout out McCaffrey because he's a beast, and anybody who ever doubted that should be ashamed of themselves. And a lot of people like, he's a white running back. No, he's a clear running back. Clearly better than your running back.
Let me tell you, and Chris is 100% right. McCaffrey was the best player in that building that day.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
He caught 10 passes, more than any of the wide receivers. More. The leading receiver last week was Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen had two catches. So our defensive game plan, Romeo Cornell knows what he's doing, right? But as far as Christian McCaffrey, here's what I think kind of went into it. Kind of like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, you can beat us. Nobody else is going to beat us. And we pretty much did that. Honestly, our defense played well enough for us to win the game. Offensively, maybe not so much.
Well, I mean, so with that being said, a lot of people actually were pointing out and trying to put blame on, and I think these have to be like the Bill O'Brien fans, that the reasons why the Texans lost was because of Deshaun Watson. And the question is Deshaun Watson regressing in his third year as a quarterback, especially under Bill O'Brien? And that's something we really have to really start talking about. Is he regressing? What you saw out there, a lot of people are saying, well, he has 6 sacks. There's a couple of times he could have thrown the ball away, right? But, when you really listen to Deshaun Watson, be asked a question by the media, and it felt like the media was being condescending, for him to actually step back, and we talked about this interview, and actually break down everything that he saw. To me, it's truly telling, because not only did he show his football IQ, but he also showed why he's one of the best QBs in the game, and why he's so far ahead of a lot of other QBs, because I don't think many players would have been able to intellectually explain that to where it's still simplified. But as I'm hearing him talk about this, like, I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if Bill O'Brien is like, just be quiet. Just be quiet. Don't comment on what we should have done and what you saw. Because at the end of the day, it sheds some light on the most important thing. If you're seeing that, it is the coach's job to make adjustments. It's the coach's job to see this as well as the quarterback, seeing what the defense is giving you and doing things that is going to make the game easier, like what we talked about earlier. But if for those who are saying, well, Deshaun Watson is still holding the ball too long, think about it for 1 second. He's not comfortable with that offensive line.
Not at all.
18
100%.
sacks. Not only that, but if your coach is calling bonehead plays, you can't even count on your coach to make the right call. You can't count on your offensive line to protect you. All Deshaun Watson is thinking about in his head is, I got to make a play and I got to do what I need to do to make this team win. And if you think about it, the wins that we've seen so far this year for the Texans, it was because of Deshaun Watson. It's because he made those plays. So he's holding the ball longer. He's trying to run. And the crazy thing about that, you also have to think about in his head, he's thinking, I'm one hit away from being out again in the season.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think he thinks that, but
I think that
I feel like he plays with a little abandonment. Like he is a little reckless. I'm not saying reckless with the ball, but he doesn't necessarily look to protect his knees. He doesn't. When you see somebody that's looking to protect themselves, look at Tom Brady. He sniffs a linebacker. He sniffs a blitz. He's going down immediately.
Well, I mean,
But Deshaun Watson's not that player, and I get that. But I will say, as far as Deshaun Watson's concerned, is this. He saw the defense, right? He gave the way he explained in the press conference, and I really want you to put that link up because it's a fabulous explanation of the way they played cover 2, cover 4. They were moving in their linebackers in the middle part of the field, and it took everything away from the wide receivers in short distance and long distance, right? Now, where Deshaun Watson is at fault here is those 2 passes where he had D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins wide open, and Will Fuller wide open. Now, one of them was a little pressure, but he kind of did that to himself because he went outside the pocket. Again, it's not like the offensive line has made just...
If you're Deshaun Watson, are you trusting offensive line?
No, I get that. I get that. Yeah, right. So he does have to go outside the pocket. He doesn't get enough time on a regular basis to feel comfortable for long passes. But he had 2 opportunities, and those both opportunities he missed them. But sometimes you only get 1 a game, period. So you got to hit that. That's on him. And he said that. He said as much. 2, at that point, when they're playing that type of defense, and as well as we were running, I think that it was a better game plan to keep running. Bill O'Brien tried to force a situation when they were playing a cover 2 or a cover 4. He tried to get the wide receivers to in tight windows, and not saying that it's Deshaun Watson's fault, but the wide receivers weren't getting separation. Whenever D-Hop did make a catch, whenever Will Fuller did make a catch, whenever Kuti made a catch, they didn't get any time to breathe. There was no yak. There was no yards for after the catch. Who made the most impact catching the ball was Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson. And I'm going to put it to you like this. I'm going to put it out to you right now. Duke Johnson's a better running back than Carlos Hyde. Duke Johnson outran him per yardage, and he outcaught him per yardage. So Duke Johnson, I don't know. Chris thinks he's not an every down back.
He's not an every down back.
I don't see it necessarily. I can't sit there and disagree with it. But what I saw, the small window of opportunity of seeing him, Duke Johnson's a better running back.
This is what I'm trying to say. It's rare that you actually see Deshaun Watson call audibles and call the plays himself. He's running what Bill O'Brien's telling him to run, right? Mm-hmm. These check down plays that you're seeing, that's because of Deshaun Watson doing what he needs to do to recognize. So like for me, when he overthrows the ball, I don't blame him for that, because even when he's not, one of them there wasn't pressure, but you have to think that he's feeling the pressure, right? Because let's be honest here. Like when you've had 18 sacks already and you're already going we're going, in week 5, like honestly, the offensive line is one more spare tire away from having 4 donuts. That's what the offensive line looks like. They're already making adjustments again because another offensive line member got hurt and they're trying to pull somebody off that nobody would even want. So again, with all being said, is Watson regressing as a quarterback? I don't know, but if he continues to play like this on this offense and this offensive line, I don't know if we shouldn't be worried about him regressing. We should be worrying about him becoming the next Andrew Luck, and that's the truth.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. I do worry about that, and we brought that up before about him turning into an Andrew Luck. All right, well, it is now officially time to recognize NFL Week 4, who won, who lost. Obviously, the Chiefs had a tough game with the Lions, pulled that one out. Patriots. Again, tough game for the Patriots. The Bills look kind of real, man. The Bills were another undefeated team. One of them had to go down. New England ended up taking over at the end. And I got to say, shout out the 49ers because they're still undefeated. Even though they didn't play, they're undefeated.
Yeah, they won a game.
But I will say, okay, now, out of everybody that's 2-2, right? Texans, Ravens, I'll even throw in Rams and Cowboys. They took L's. Who do you think has the most upside out of Ravens, Rams, Cowboys, and Texans?
Honestly, like the when I think about the Ravens, the Rams, and the Cowboys, and including the Texans, I mean, they all took L's, and I think they were bad games overall. But man, I think all 3 shouldn't even be worried. And that's why, like, actually in NFL, you have to respect your opponent. I think all those teams...
Even you don't worry about the Texans?
Oh, no, excluding the Texans.
Rams are 3-1.
No, but
no, I said I wanted to include them in the conversation because they didn't have a good win.
No,
they didn't have a good loss.
I think excluding the Texans, if you think about the Ravens and Rams and the Cowboys, it almost felt like they didn't respect their opponent. And we all know on any given Sunday...
Who would respect Tampa Bay?
Well, I bet you the Rams respect their asses now. I mean, look how many points it put up. It was ridiculous. And you know what? It's not like they didn't have a chance to win the game, but I think the momentum was just too much for them to come back on. But I mean, at the end of the day, like they all face desperate teams. Like Browns had to win the game. Right, 100%. Buccaneers wanted to win the game. Because guess what? They're still in it. They could still possibly make the playoffs. That division sucks. It's almost as bad as our division. That's what I'm saying.
Atlanta?
Like in the Cowboys, listen, New Orleans is playing for their lives. They're trying to win as many games as they can and hopefully be able to get it to where they can make the playoffs and have Drew Brees come back. So all these teams just thought they were just going to go in there and just beat those teams, and those teams weren't having it. I mean, that's what I saw. You know what I mean? But I still think those are still the better teams. Like, if they were to play again tomorrow, those teams that we mentioned that had the bad week would have won those games.
The one thing I'll say about those teams, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff with the Rams, Deshaun Watson with the Texans, and at the end of the day, this is why you don't pay him top money. But Dak Prescott, all 4 of those need to recognize defenses a little bit better. Now, when I say that, it's because they did not, in crucial moments, recognize and pick up the blitz. Deshaun Watson had a blitz that he did not pick up, forced fumble. Jared Goff threw 2 interceptions in the 4th quarter. The Dak Prescott, the first play that they came out to try to get a winning drive, the first play they got a 7-yard sack. The first play, you got to pick up on these blitzes. This is the NFL, and there's no excuse. When you're looking at the Peyton Mannings, when you're looking at Tom Brady's, and I get those are the best in the world, best to ever do it. But when you look at those people who are consistently winning championships and being the best at what they do, that's the number one thing they can do is picking up that blitz. And Deshaun Watson does a good job, but our running backs cannot, on a regular basis, pick up that blitz and actually block correctly. And that's a big hole in our game.
I'm about to throw a little shade, just a little bit of shade. Like the Chiefs and the Patriots, obviously they're the favorites. obviously they did what they needed to do to win the game. I will say that both teams did look a little vulnerable, right? I mean, we saw some weaknesses and saw some definitely some I guess some chinks in the armor on both sides, right? Right. And although the Chiefs defense is still suspect, you know, they are ranked 30 overall on defense. And honestly, they should have lost to the Lions. I can't imagine any team turning the ball over 5 times and winning. But at the end of the day, even though they look vulnerable, both teams, good coaching still helped them find a way to win the game.
I will say though,
shade.
Look, Texans 10 points. The Patriots, no, the Cowboys scored 10 points. The Patriots scored 16. But hold on, before you interject, the Patriots offense actually scored 9. Not only that, they got bailed out huge by their special teams. The punt block to a touchdown.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Then on top of that, did you guys see the hit that knocked the quarterback for the Bills, Josh Allen, out?
Yeah, that was horrible.
Oh,
It was almost identical to Vontaze Burfict, and we'll get into that a little bit.
that was rough.
That was rough.
So at the end of the game, they didn't even have their starting quarterback. They weren't a full team at that point.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Chiefs lucking out and eking that win out. Man, the Patriots got out of Buffalo. Man, they got by the skin of their teeth. They got out of that city.
Both teams got out.
Like, that's what I'm saying,
man. But at the same time, I've always said that the best way to beat the Patriots and the best way to beat the Chiefs is being out physical, like out physicality of them or whatever you want to say. Like, I mean, you saw that, and I want to say this. I want to give a shout out because I wasn't convinced that the Detroit Lions were real. The Detroit Lions are real. They got a great offense and they got a great defense.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's Mahomes. They stopped Mahomes' record as a player.
Oh, yeah.
For
No
14
touchdown.
consecutive TDs. Like, so he didn't score a TD. Not only that, but he actually didn't even have he failed to even do a downfield pass. It's the first time that's ever happened in the 3 years. Yes.
I'm confused. What do you mean?
So Mahomes failed to complete a downfield pass for the first time.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true.
Well, you didn't see the rugby play?
That isn't. No.
Well,
I'm talking about a deep pass, like a downfield
like
pass.
35 plus?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So this is the first time in his 3-year career that's never happened.
So take it.
So, but not to even say that. But I mean, Mahomes didn't even throw one TD pass, which is crazy, right? But at the same time, Matt Stafford has proven he's still elite. They have some young talent, and on the offensive side, and obviously on the defensive side. But what I actually think is, which is sad, is that you can't turn the ball over 2 times in the red zone and expect to beat the best offensive team, regardless of how good your defense is. And that's pretty much what happened to the Lions. But the Lions are real, man. And looking at the NFC right now,
it's still a young team, but
looking at the NFC right now, they could easily sneak in there.
So when we go and we listen to the podcast and we get the viewers that asking a question that we answer, who's better, Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes? When we both have dirty games, did this not convince you that Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback?
Not at all. Not at all.
I don't know what I have to do, people. He just won't do it. He won't do it.
Because again, it goes back to my story, and I've gotten a lot of love, and thank you to all my fans out there that have showed me the love, that obviously see what I see.
Hey, did you see the vote? I'm just saying, did you see the votes?
Yes, I'm pretty sure you text everybody to go and vote for you, John. That's some shady shit that you would do. But here's my thing. Again, if you take everything we said about Bill O'Brien, if you take and put Andy Reid with Deshaun Watson, you are going to say Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback in the NFL. I'm sorry, but to me, fans like you and fans like around the world that's giving all these props to Mahomes is because they're in love with the shiny new toy. But like every shiny new toy, it gets old. It's an elite offense. And honestly, Mahomes showed me that when you get physical with him, just like Steph Curry, because that's who he reminds me of, the Steph Curry of football, he can't take that physicality.
All right. Neither can Tom Brady, but I'll take the 6 rings, though.
Oh, well Tom Brady is the GOAT.
I think this debate will keep on going and going and going. Because,
shout out to Deshaun Watson.
Hey, listen. Hey,
could you imagine Mahomes explaining the breakdown of the defense? Let me tell you something.
But he doesn't have to because he got a good coach.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
Anyway, so we're going to break down our picks for the week. Khoa, I don't even want to see him right now, man. So what did we do last week?
So we had an extra pick last week. We did 6 last week.
Right.
I don't know if you wanted to keep it a 5 or do a 6. Cause I called it the pick 6 of the week. So that was kind of cool.
Ooh,
I thought that was
nice.
fun.
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I mean, we
But you're
keep
gonna have
the-
to pick the 6th game then.
So we got 5 games chosen right now. We could do 6, but anyway, we were not so good last week. It started off rough because the first 3 games we were all 0-3.
Yeah.
No. And then
Thursday night with
I
the
was
Packers.
so embarrassed. I'm not gonna lie. I was so embarrassed on Instagram for a second,
Man,
dude.
dude.
We sounded so
Packers
bad.
lost it to the Eagles, and
one-
then
who saw that coming?
Ravens lost it to the Browns,
Man.
and then we had
That was
I forget
tough.
the third game, but we were 0-3 to start off, and then it started shifting, and then so I ended up 3 out of 6, and then y'all both ended up 2 out of 6. So not the best week, but let's look to improve this week, fellas. Yeah, but hey, let's go right into it. First game we got Rams at Seahawks. That's going to be Rams are favored just by 1.5. It's pretty much a toss up. Thursday night game. What are we thinking?
I don't believe that Todd Gurley will ever be Todd Gurley again. And we're going back to the game real quick. I think that if they keep doing that to Christian McCaffrey, he's going to end up in the same situation. They ran Todd Gurley down to a nub, and for now on, till the end of his career, he's going to be on a pitch count, basically. And at this point, if Todd Gurley can't get off, Jared Goff can't carry the team, I don't see it. And I thought the Rams were going to make the Super Bowl coming from the NFC. I no longer believe that. Seattle is going to come and punch him in the mouth. I can see a pick 6 again. I don't know if it's going to be by Jadeveon Clowney, ex-Texan, but that's neither here nor there. But I can
miss you,
easily
Clowney.
see their defense.
I miss you.
Now, it's up to
90.
Seahawks offense, but I got Seahawks at least by 1.
All right, man. I definitely feel the exact same way. We went into our I guess our season preview a couple episodes back, and I said that Seattle Seahawks are going to win the division.
They've gotten better every week.
And what no one's talking about, like no one talked about last year and the year before, is Russell Wilson. He always comes through, and they always find a way to win.
And he's getting better, too.
And he's getting better, and their running game is starting to come out. Chris Carson finally holding on to the ball. Anyways,
Who has Chris Carson?
that guy over there.
Shut
Bad
up,
intentions, Joshua Cruz. I got Seattle winning. It's in Seattle. I do feel like the Rams are going to play a lot better. But, man, when you're playing in Seattle against a 12-man, I'm just saying. This is divisional rivalry. Woo.
That was one of the most disappointing shows of defense I've ever seen come from the Rams last week. That was horrible. I don't know if it's Bruce Arians, the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, being that much better for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and their offense, but that was a bad showing of defense from the Rams.
Who you got, Khoa?
Well, who you got?
I'm sticking with the trend. I'm gonna go Seattle too. Yeah, man. It's a tough place to play. They say it was the loudest stadium to play in. I don't know if that's true.
12th man.
12th man, and also just pulling for Russell to throw up 6 touchdowns. Again.
Hell yeah.
Give me
Who-
some fantasy points.
You got Russell Wilson, don't you? Look at that, man.
Not in our league, but,
We'll say that this next game for the last one, because that to me is the big game of the week. Let's get into a little bit of Indianapolis versus KC. Indianapolis coming off a loss. KC coming barely getting up that win in the Ford Field in Detroit. So Indianapolis travels to KC. Who's the favorite? Sunday Night Football.
Oh, of course we know who the favorite
Man,
is.
Chiefs are favored by about 10.5 points.
Ooh,
Woo! I'm taking the under on this one.
hell yeah.
I'm taking Indianapolis all day. Give me 10 points? No way. Nah, but I can't. I'm not going to take them overall. I'm just saying it's going to be a close game. I got KC.
You got KC? Listen, man.
I know you don't want that.
No, listen, because I picked KC last week. So I mean, even if I don't believe in the team, I also believe in matchups and who's just a better team. And honestly, man, you know what? The thing about Indiana and the thing about them is that, man, it's still hard to tell because Brissett is actually playing pretty well. A lot of people don't realize that they've been running.
Oh.
They have a good running game, and most importantly, they've been playing really good defense. So I think this will be another good challenge for Kansas City Chiefs. I kind of feel like that Indiana's going to play the underdog role. I think they're going to come in just like Detroit, and they're going to play them hard. So, I feel like eventually I'm going to get this right. So I got Indiana.
Wow. Just real quick on
I got Indiana by a
man.
field goal, man.
Brissett and what he's doing, and right now he's a game manager, and that's okay. But it just shows you how good that team is. Had they had Andrew Luck.
Absolutely. That was my pick to win the Super Bowl.
Phenomenal. Their
Damn it.
offensive line.
Did you hear what Ty said
What did he say?
before the season started? He said this team is the best team that he's ever been on.
Yeah, it is, man.
No. But this was after Andrew Luck had already retired. He said, hands down, this is the best team that he's ever been on with Jacoby Brissett.
Hey,
From
man.
Ty's mouth.
I'm impressed.
Josh picked up Brissett. Yeah.
Who you got, Khoa?
Oh man, 10 points. That's tough. I think they're gonna edge it out, but I don't know about 10 points. I think it'll be close, but I still take Chiefs.
All right. Nice.
All right.
Which one do you want to
Hey,
go next?
my favorite game of the week is, you got to represent for the 49ers out there, undefeated. They're 3-0. Yeah, I know we had a little bye. It's cool, but we're still undefeated.
Yeah, they are by.
So Cleveland travels to San Francisco off of the hype of a good game versus the Ravens. Who was favored, Khoa?
Let's see. It's gonna be the Niners by just 3.5 points.
Niners are favored. Woo. Okay. I'll take it. I can't. It's like you and the Texans, man. I just don't know what it is. I don't know if I'd still vote for 49ers taking it if they were 2-2, but no, that's neither here nor there. But I'm gonna take the 49ers. They're undefeated, so
They got the extra rest time,
Yeah, right. Come. Do you believe the hype, Chris, or no?
Hell no.
And then which team's hype do you believe in?
Listen. I think Cleveland finally realized what they need to do to be successful.
Which is?
Give the ball to Chubbs.
Yeah, but you got to keep Odell Beckham Jr. happy, man.
Listen. Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham, to me, are two of the most hyped, overrated players in the NFL. But Chubb's not. He's actually a real workhorse, a real running back, and I think that they're going to take what they learned this last game against the Ravens and apply it to the 49ers. 49ers is a young defense, right? They're a young team overall. So I actually got the Cleveland Browns getting back into 500 and beating the 49ers.
You make me sick, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to vote against you. Fuck your team.
I'm going with Niners in this one.
Thank you, Khoa. See?
I think the extra wrestlers is going to help them. But
It don't mean shit. They're going to get their asses beat.
All right. Let's see. That leaves us with Houston, the hometown game. Atlanta coming to Houston. Hey, man.
Both these teams are garbage.
Listen, shout out to the AFC South for being 2-2, all the way down from Houston to the Tennessee Titans.
Somebody's got to take first place, right?
Right. At this point, it's still Houston, but Atlanta winless coming into town. Do you see Atlanta finally getting that win? Who's the favorite, Khoa?
Texans are by 4.5 points.
I'll take it.
You going with the Texans?
I got Texans coming out and hitting them in the mouth. Texans gonna be pissed off. Atlanta's gonna try to replicate with Carolina, but they can't. They don't have the personnel. So I got Houston.
No, wait. I know Chris loves talking about Houston last because he's gonna talk for about 45.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, you already know. I'm gonna take Houston.
I'm not surprised.
This is. Hey, this is not a homer pick. I mean, I feel like this is gonna be. I mean, they need this. They need this for morale.
Man.
It's gonna be at home, man.
Hey, if we're keeping, no. If we're keeping the trend, it's win, loss, win. Or something.
Hopefully, it's not another nail biter. Hopefully, we can actually play some good football and have some good play calling. But
Here, let me see.
We'll see.
Who plays Houston after.
So you got the Houston.
Yeah.
Okay. I strongly believe that Atlanta's offense is definitely much better than the Houston defense. Period.
Oh no, we're winning this one.
Period.
Yeah, look, if we're keeping the trend of win loss, We're winning the Falcons and we're losing the Chiefs.
This is not mathematics. This is actual football. Again, Atlanta's offense is that much better than our defense, and so I think that with Atlanta having a bad start, I feel like they're gonna come out gunning. I feel like our secondary is gonna get eaten up. I think Ridley and Julio Jones are just gonna be too much for our secondary. And not only that, but this is probably one of the first quarterbacks we face all year long. That's probably one of the best quarterbacks we've faced. And I just think that, Matty Ice, I think they're gonna come out. I do think that it's gonna be close as usual. Like I said, Texans are always gonna be there because you have Deshaun Watson, the best quarterback in the NFL. But I got Atlanta, man. I got Atlanta by a touchdown, man.
Ooh, I hope, for the Houston Texans' sake, I hope you're wrong.
Me too.
All right, Khoa. Last but not least, game of the week. Oh, actually, do we know what the sixth game? We're gonna bonus game.
Yeah.
Bonus game.
I'll throw in a bonus game here. So this is going to be one that line is relatively close. Two people that edged out a win this last week is going to be Tampa Bay at New Orleans.
Ooh.
In the Superdome.
That's a divisional game.
Saints are favored by just 3.5 points. So who you got?
I'm gonna take the underdog. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay just because I don't think that the Saints are mature enough. Excuse me, mature enough with the Teddy Bridgewater to keep this momentum going. I think they're gonna rest on their laurels. They had a great win versus the Cowboys, and they're gonna believe their hype. And in the NFL, anybody can take that loss. So I'm gonna go Tampa Bay.
Oh man, I got Tampa Bay too.
Tampa Bay?
Yeah, man.
Ooh.
I think this is another team, Tampa Bay, that is underachieving. They have too much talent offensively.
They've always had that though.
And I think
always had good talent.
I think this is also a come out game for OJ Howard. I think he's gonna have a big game. I think that Tampa Bay is. I think they're gonna win by at least. I think it's gonna be. They're gonna win by at least 10 points.
Okay.
10 points.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Damn.
Damn,
Well,
that's. Hey man, that offense is clicking.
yeah. Man, I said it last week. I'm sticking with it this week. I'm going Saints on this one, man. I think. I think it'll be as close as the line calls. I don't know if it's gonna be about 3 or so, but I see Saints pulling it out.
Well, that's the only way you can catch up to me, Khoa. So, I mean, I get it.
Get out of
You got to be winning at something.
here. All right, so we got the last game. This is gonna be Green Bay Packers at the Dallas Cowboys.
And I say this is game of the week, not because it's Dallas Cowboys. Of course not. But because we're going to see who the real team is. We're going to see if 3-1 of the 3-1 teams, Cowboys or Green Bay, who's actually really the real team that's better and that's actually going to be the favorite for the rest of the division. Green Bay's defense has been spectacular all year. They actually had a chance to win at the end of the game. Not to say the Cowboys didn't, but Green Bay got a lot closer than the Cowboys did.
That was just a frustrating game to watch, man.
Oh.
That goal line stand. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then shout out to what's his name, Branham or whatever. He had that. I think he's the one that win the game for them. He's the one that made the pick in the end zone at the end in that goal line stand.
Right.
But he's also the one that if you watched whatever earlier, maybe like the second quarter, he dropped a pick that was like right in his hands. And then I think that was like his redemption play. So that was a Bradham. That's his name, Bradham.
Well, it obviously depends on Green Bay's defense. Can they hold Ezekiel? Ezekiel is the fulcrum of that offense, obviously, at this point, because it just seems like every time Ezekiel has a bad game or doesn't play hardly at all, it's a lot harder for the Cowboys to win. So can Ezekiel go off? And my feeling is he will. I think Ezekiel, highest paid football player, running back in the game right now. So if it's time to put your money where your mouth is, and here you go, show up or get done up. And I got the Cowboys. I can't see Ezekiel getting shut down 2 weeks in a row.
Two things. I agree with you on the Ezekiel Elliott standpoint. I think he's gonna have a big game. Also, too, I think that it's gonna be a lot harder for Green Bay to win this game, especially with Devontae Adams possibly not playing.
Ooh.
With his sharp toe injury and
Yeah.
whatnot. And then you're trusting on two really young receivers against that Dallas Cowboy improved the DBs. I just don't see it happening. Not only that, but it's in Dallas. They're going to be pumped up, ready to go. And I think I actually think this is probably going to be one of I don't know. This is probably gonna be one of the worst games for Green Bay. I think that they're gonna struggle.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I've just seen the trend. It seems
Right,
like they
right.
have everything going in the first half, and the second half they fall apart. And
Right.
yeah, I see another strong sack.
I tell you what,
A lot
that
of sacks.
that NFC
You
North
see a,
is
you see a
looking-
strong sack, Chris?
Seen a strong sacks, not sack.
That NFC North is looking kind of vulnerable right now. Trubisky's out for the time being with that separated shoulder. If Green Bay loses 2 in a row, their hype is a little unraveled. And then, Lions, you don't know what kind of team they really are yet.
I still think-
Vikings, they don't know. They don't have a quarterback, so
I still think the Bears are still the best team in that division. Their defense is too good, and honestly, you saw by putting in.
I get that, but they don't have their quarterback.
Well, Trubisky actually was underperforming, and it seems like the game is still too fast for him. I'm kind of disappointed, but it seems like once they put in what's his face, they were hitting on all cylinders. He's a game manager. That's probably what they need, especially with
Right.
that defense. So
Who you got, Khoa?
I'm going with Dallas too. I
Yeah.
think you know who's gonna have the best game. Randall Cobb
possibly, especially
All
against
right.
his
I like that.
former
against
team.
against the former. I love
Yeah,
when
man. Good point,
teams, played their old rivals,
right.
whatever you want to call them.
You-
So
Talking about forcing the ball to somebody. They're going to force it to Randall Cobb.
man,
All right.
All right, man. So I don't know what to get into next, man. Really, I really want to talk about the Rockets, but the Astros going off and going to the playoff. I've actually been waiting for this day for the Astros playoff since they clinched the division, and since we knew so early in the season that our division was tied up. I just wanted to get to the end of the season and get to the playoffs already, because after the division, it's all like for show, and what great showing Verlander and Cole have been, and to have that as a 1-2 punch, and then of course the pitcher Greinke that we picked up in the middle of the season. I mean, dude, 1, 2, 3, whew, that's gonna be tough for anybody, and I can't wait to see that. And that I haven't even mentioned our bats, so.
yeah.
I don't. I mean, I want to get excited about the Rockets, but that's preseason, and
Yeah. Well, we talk about the Rockets real quick. I mean, y'all see, media day.
Media day looked pretty awesome. For me, I got excited as a kid. I felt like a kid when the Rockets won the first championship and they came back in '95. I felt like a kid again because I saw the excitement and you could see the real relationship between Brody and the Beard and the squad.
All of them.
Like,
all of them.
they got me hyped up, man. Like, they did.
Do you remember when we first got CP and like the difference in feeling between then and then like seeing how like we're seeing Harden and Brody now?
I feel that way. I can see it.
Somebody made a good point. Somebody says there's a difference between having somebody think that they can tell the leader what to do and try to always be their coach basically on the court, than having somebody that's your compatriot, your equal, when y'all are both figuring it out.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's instead of being a boss, you're your coworker, and y'all are both figuring out how the system is gonna work. And it's a growth, right? You go together as opposed to somebody's looking up at you and telling you what to do. Sometimes it's not, you don't get the same responses as you do. And dude, one thing you can tell with Brody, with Russell Westbrook, is he is so team oriented. He is so intertwined with the team that it's like he's been there. He's been part of this team for a while now. And anybody and everybody that's ever left Russell Westbrook from his team saying that he's the best team that they've ever played with. Best teammate that he's ever played with. Brody, if I can see it. He looks like loyal to a fault. You know what I mean? Like, if you're on my team, we're riding hard. Fuck everybody else. But you and me, you and us, we got it. You know?
It's so like, he's like, they're going to be, he's purposely putting together a trip for all of them to go to Hawaii to bond. And the first thing he says is that it's just not just us going to hang out. I want to individually hang out with all my teammates. I want to know everything about their lives. I don't know what their interests are. I want to bond. That's exactly what he did in Oklahoma City. That's why so many people have so much love for him, because he is very genuine. I mean, listen, I don't know too many teams that have two real MVPs on their teams. They have been 1 and 2 the last couple of years for points, assists, and actual usage, right? These guys are going to be amazing together. They've grown up together. It's kind of like me and you. Like, I'm more,
all right.
I'm more Brody and you're more Beard, because you don't play defense. So, and obviously I'm
hardcore defense, loyal to a fault.
Yeah, man.
Keep going. I mean, what?
You know what I mean?
You always want to go to Hawaii and bond.
Man.
He's always trying to take
I'm
you to
always
Hawaii.
trying to take you to Hawaii. Not. Anyways, but I'm pretty excited, and I just can't, as much as we talked about basketball in the beginning, when we first started this podcast, I got sick of talking about basketball, and I couldn't wait to talk about football.
That's what it was. It's like we're so ready for it.
Now, and take basically what you said, like when Chris Paul came in, I was excited, and I knew it would work. But at the same time, I knew what kind of player Chris Paul was. He's a floor general, and he's got to be the man, or he wants to be the coach, or he wants to be like the dad. You know what I mean? Yeah. With this, it seems like best friend.
And he's had a track record of being a bad teammate.
With this, it seems like Brody really wants to come in, not only taking Houston culture, but take this team and do everything they can to win a championship, man. Oh, my God. Clutch City's back.
People might assume that of Brody just because they see his numbers and they think that, oh man, he wants to do everything, but he's not doing it for himself. There's a reason why.
Absolutely.
He has as many assists as he does, because guess what? He's managing, but not in a in a dictatorship type of way.
Exactly.
All right. So we're trying to speed up this podcast a little bit. We're trying to new timer machine, so to speak. So
he has a name.
Bad intentions.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Josh. You hell of a clock, bro. He's over there. He's like, every time I go on a diatribe, and you know how we do.
Let's go back into Astros real quick, talking about Verlander and Cole. Who do you think is the best?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Okay, we know that nobody's going to argue that the Astros aren't the favorites. Nobody's going to ask you that we don't think that Astros going to win the World Series. I want to know, who do you think is going to win the Cy Young, or who deserves it?
Both. I mean, it's unprecedented.
First ever in history.
Yeah,
Double award.
Why not? I mean, it's unprecedented. I mean, what they've done, this is really unprecedented. And not only that, but I mean, these two have put up ridiculous numbers, and overall, I mean, if wins is what separates who wins the Cy Young Award, you might as well give them to both, because although Verlander has the most wins, man, you cannot even consider or not consider Cole what he did in strikeouts alone. I mean, Houston needs to pay him his money.
So they both got 300 strikeouts. Verlander got 3,000 for his career. But here's the thing. Verlander got a no-hitter, which is great. But Cole, he quietly kept pace. Not only did he do that, he broke the record for the most consecutive wins. I think it was 16 ever throughout baseball, ever. Baseball has the longest stat history of any of the major sports. For him to be and break that record as a pitcher in today's day and age, to see the ball travel the way it is, if it's not juice or not, whatever, to see what he's done in this day and age, I think it speaks more than just history itself. It's amazing. never been done before. And just for that fact alone, he's got the strikeout record of the year. Excuse me. He's the strikeout leader. He's also the ERA leader. He actually beat out Verlander for that at the very end of the season. And he's one win away from Verlander. So if I had to pick one or the other, unlike these two gentlemen sitting on the fence, I'm going to go with Cole.
Both. Either way it goes, we know the awards coming to Houston.
Right?
Like all the other awards.
There you go. There you go. I'm good with that. Khoa, what you got?
Just see that that suspension that Vontaze Burfict got, was it 12 games?
Yeah, rest of the season.
For that hit on rest of the season on Jack Doyle of the Colts.
I think the consensus is that he should never play football in the NFL again. I honestly do not think that it was that bad of a play. Not to say that it wasn't a bad play. Any head-to-head, helmet-to-helmet collision is a bad play. But thinking about the circumstance, the tight end, Jack Doyle, catches the ball, goes down, untouched. He's going back up. He's like, for a split second, he tried to lift back up. He sees Vontaze Burfict coming out. Hey, I'm going to go back down. He puts his head down too. So helmet-to-helmet collision, boom, boom, play. It's hard to really see that Burfict had malintentions. Like, yeah, he wanted to knock the hell out of the guy, but isn't that all football, right? But to say that he deserves a year-long suspension, I'm not with it.
I mean, I think it was clearly a football play. I think he basically got suspended because of his history. And although in this past he has made some plays that obviously he was out to headhunt and hurt some people, this is one of a couple of other plays where he's gotten suspended where it was just a good football play. And, I guess rules are rules. I just wish that the NFL was this firm and strict when it comes to domestic violence and sexual assault. That's all I'm going to say about that.
True. But again, I spoke about it earlier. I honestly think that what the Patriots did to Josh Allen was very similar to this, and the guy didn't even get kicked out the game. But Vontaze Burfict, being Vontaze Burfict, not only did he get kicked out the game, he's out the rest of the year. So
yeah, that's
the hypocrisy in that's kind of laughable.
That's true. And that just reminds me, I just want to bring it up one more time. I was ready for J.J. Watt to send freaking
Kyle
Allen into the shadow realm with that sack, but heads up play for Kyle Allen for ducking. I don't know why J.J. didn't tackle
that
low.
still didn't win him the game.
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, deja vu, though, because he did the exact same thing to Romo a couple years when they played Dallas
yeah?
Cowboys. We could have won that game, and he did the exact same thing when he tried to tackle Romo.
He gets too excited.
Yeah, man.
Why are you going high? Like, go low. You had him right there. And I was like, man.
Listen, just be like Vincent, man. Just, God, what's his name? How you say his name?
Who? Vontaze?
Vontaze. Just be like Vontaze.
Vontaze Burfict.
Yeah, man. Just be like Vontaze. Just kill him.
Messed up.
No. I'm sorry.
He won't get suspended, though.
Man, did y'all see all those during All Sunday football? I swear did not stop seeing commercials for WWE.
Oh,
and
I
wrestling
know.
I was like,
Jesus.
man. I was like, they are cross promoting like a mother.
Yeah, they're gonna be on Fox now on
So,
Fridays, man.
That's starting back up. They're trying to bring the hype back to wrestling. They had like all those like throwback clips and stuff. Like Steve
Chris
Austin.
is I'm sure gonna get into it a little deeper than I can, but I'll say this: the NFL and the WWE WWF product was absolutely 100% unequivocally better when they had to go battle for battle with WCW. Every storyline was crisp. Every storyline was good. That's when you had everybody from Stone Cold, Steve Austin, Triple H, The Rock, even Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, all those classic wrestlers in the Attitude Era. That's when they came up, and that's when wrestling was, as far as storylines are concerned, the best I've ever seen it. And I was watching it. I remember watching wrestling back in the day as a kid. This is my golden era as far as the Attitude Era is concerned. So finally, WWE finally gets, I keep slamming that, sorry, finally gets competition, and I think it's only going to drive the product better.
Oh, man. Wrestling Wars start tomorrow. The Wrestling War Wednesday, man. WWE versus AEW, and I am super, super excited for this. I'm hoping this really does bring back wrestling to the golden ages that we talked about, why we love wrestling. WWE is actually, they're actually going to be having the NXT, which is basically like their minor league of wrestling, go head-to-head with AEW on Wednesday nights on USA, which I actually don't think it's a very good idea, just because although I think NXT overall has been a great show, I think it's going to be too much pressure on these young kids to compete with all the talent that AEW has. But either way it goes, I think that this is going to force WWE to be better, and most importantly, make wrestling great again. I'm super pumped up about that.
You making hats?
Man, I will say, for anything about Donald Trump, he's created his own language, and we all use it. So, hats out to him.
Starting tomorrow, if you guys get a chance, the big promotion here with AEW, why it makes it so different from WWE, it's going to be less talk and more wrestling, more athleticism. They can actually say wrestling in AEW, whereas WWE, you're not allowed to say wrestling. They don't like to use word wrestling. They just like
sports entertainment now.
Sports entertainment. So if you get a chance, watch it. You got some incredible matches, and it should be a phenomenal show. And it's the first show, so show love. And if anything, maybe it'll make everybody become wrestling fans again.
All right, Khoa.
All right, we're gonna close out on a little different topic, but I think I can speak for all of us. I don't know if everybody here is a Kanye fan.
I'm absolutely a Kanye fan.
I'm a big Kanye fan. I feel like for anyone my age and a little older, maybe a little younger, I feel like Kanye is near and dear to my heart. Cause
I just think, artistically speaking, he's moved the needle more so than any artist.
Can you ask me
since
one more?
Like freaking Michael Jackson, maybe.
Absolutely. Can you ask me one more time if I'm a Kanye West fan?
Hey, Chris, you a Kanye fan?
Does Jesus walk? Sorry, I can't help it. Of course, I'm a Kanye West fan.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, I think everybody is patiently waiting for this release, Jesus is King. So
Gospel album.
Yeah, I actually haven't been looking up too much about it.
Well, the thing is, the only news I know is, first of all, it was supposed to come out last week, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't come out. But everybody that has gotten the privilege to hear the album is head over heels saying that. I think they named a couple songs. I can't remember off the track listing, but they were saying like, this is classic Kanye, amazing music. They can't wait to hear the rest of it.
Yeah, so it's not out yet, right?
No, it's supposed to come out Sunday.
They said the 27th, and then he said push back to the 29th. Yeah. We sitting here on October 2nd or 1st, 2nd. It's still not
well,
out
you
yet,
know,
man.
I mean, any artist that is that.
Yeah,
I don't want to say crazy.
He's a perfectionist.
Right. He's like beyond perfectionist, though.
Yeah,
he's.
Yeah. There's I remember that.
I don't want to
great
be
clip.
negative about it because I don't know his situation, but.
No, man. I respect him for that. I remember that great clip he talked about. Well, this is back when like Graduation came out, and he released. I think it was The Good Life. I think it was A Good Life, and then he sent it out to like a couple people. He had this DJ play it at this club in L.A. And then he sat in the club and he was like looking at the crowd reaction. Everybody was loving it, but he was like, "Man, something's not right. It's not hitting right. Like the bass doesn't have that like thump I'm looking for." So he calls Timbaland. You know, Timbaland's known as like one of the drum kings as far as the producing goes. And then he's like, "Hey, Timbaland, like I need some help. Like what can I do?" And there's a great clip of Timbaland going through his sounds, and he's like, "I got you right here." Play some. He added in like a little 808 or whatever, and he really made it like pop. And so
that's awesome.
That's a little great, man. Like I'll always appreciate Kanye for his artistic ability. But even more than that, I mean, as outlandish as he can be about a lot of things, what I appreciate even more about him is how open he is just about his issues and what he's going through. We talk a lot about mental health as far as it goes with athletes and celebrities in general, and I think I don't think we touch on it enough, but I think he's very brave to be as open as he is, talking about his issues and and just like out for the world. Like he's one of those people I feel like doesn't have anything to hide.
Right.
And he's saying like, yo, like I just want to create, and excuse me for sounding crazy, but this is just how I feel. This is how I am. I'm a human being just like anybody else, and I would expect the decency and the privacy, and unfortunately, he's to a point where he doesn't get that anymore. He's
Right.
Kanye West. He's one of the most popular people on the planet. So I think he gets a lot of flack in a lot of ways that is unfair. So I've always appreciated, like how honest he was about that stuff, and how he was addicted to opioids and the issue, and how he went on TMZ saying he got liposuction because he was, he felt that that's what the fans wanted. That's what they were. That the people said, like, they started, like just body shaming him, and as a male to say that too, it's like, man, like that's big, because that's a big, probably bigger issue for females, of course. Like they feel like so pressured, but for a male to come out and say like, yeah, I did it for you because you were saying this. Blah,
It's
blah,
so
blah,
weird
blah.
because somebody that thinks so much about public opinion, and he's the one that sets it. He's a trendsetter.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. I mean, man, I really hope that he's being honest with his newfound faith. And the reason why I say that is because, people are always looking to break down Kanye West. Because he's so honest, because he's so open. And a lot of times he's so raw that people can't take it. And I always think about what Kanye West says. I say the things that people think, right? And that gets him in trouble a lot. And so I really hope that this newfound faith that he's having in this gospel music and this whole, that he's no longer making secular music anymore, is genuine for his sake. And I say that because, like, in my eyes, Kanye's always been a musical genius. But, unfortunately, mental health and fame has kind of hindered him over the years. And I hope that this brings him, like, peace in his life. From the Sunday services clips, it seems like the music's really dope, and it seems like it is going back to the old Kanye that we miss, which I'm one of those people that I like the old Kanye and I like the new Kanye, except for this last album I wasn't too happy with, a little disappointed. But even Life of Pablo, I like that Kanye. I thought that was a great album, still one of my favorite albums to listen to. But if anything, hopefully this gives people newfound faith as well. And I can contest, a little Jesus in my life wouldn't be a bad idea, because I always want people to pray for me, because I'm a bad person. But truth be told, El Chico Malo in the house. No, but I just hope, and I hope this is a good album for him, man. I just want him to be at peace. I always worry about him, especially with everything.
Yeah, I think more than anything, the fact that he's doing this music it's a big release for him, creatively, and like where he's at in his life with like faith and everything. So, real quick, I just want to get favorite Kanye album.
Ooh.
And then we'll end it on there.
I'm glad you asked that. We need to post this too. Favorite Kanye West album. John, who's your favorite Kanye West album?
I'm not gonna lie. The one that really got to me the most, because it was so different, and I love that type of experiment of where somebody can go outside of their comfort level. And not a lot of people are gonna agree with me, and it's okay because it's mine. My favorite, 808 and Heartbreaks.
Heyo.
Great album.
That is a great album. Yeah.
What about you, Khoa?
I'm gonna have to go with Graduation. I think for me, it was actually the same. It came out the same year that I graduated high school, and I don't know, man. I think it was definitely very nostalgic, reminiscent. I think it was like the culmination of the sound that he wanted to create when he first came out with College Dropout, refined it all the way until Graduation, and then he started evolving. That's when he went to Hawaii to make 808s and Heartbreak, then started making, My Dark Twisted Fantasy and all those. I think they're all great in their own right. Each album had something different about it.
Yeah.
Like the production was a little different. His lyrics changed up a little bit. You can argue a lot of different things about his albums, but
I think artistically, his peak artistically was Twisted Dark.
yeah, I would agree with that as well. But personally, my favorite, I think, is still Graduation. I can listen to that one.
Yeah. Every album has meant something to me. If you know me well, I've been the biggest Kanye West even before Kanye West even blew up, back into when he was just making mixtapes in Chicago. From being a producer to an MC, I just think he's so gifted and talented. Every album has struck a certain place in my heart. I think his best album of all time is Dark Twisted Fantasy. But when I'm asked what my favorite album of all time is, it's Late Registration.
Yeah,
I think Late Registration
I can
really
see that too.
it strikes it's a special place in my heart because Kanye West still hadn't arrived yet, but he knew he was almost there. And he knew, even when you go back and look how he put that whole album together, him going out reaching out for some darker drums and making, if you go and listen to the album's really dark as far as the drums goes. But Late Registration, man, from the moment, and not only that, but I mean, he even paid some homage to Houston with Paul Wall.
Drive Slow.
Drive Slow.
Yeah.
I just think that to me will always be my favorite album because I remember I was going through some hard times in life, and to me, that whole album was just motivational to me to just get through the struggles of my everyday life. And I remember just jamming. I would drive on the freeway for hours stressing out listening to that album, and I would turn it on, I would just feel so much better. So Late Registration will always be my favorite album of Kanye West.
There it is.
Diamonds Are Forever, bitches.
All right.
My favorite song.
This has been the Sports Trap Podcast. My name is John Trapp. This is Christopher Rodriguez. Khoa, Mr. Joshua Cruz. Thank you so much. Anybody got any more last shout outs?
Before anything, this week, don't y'all have a matchup?
Oh,
yeah, we didn't get
Fantasy
covered, but-
football.
What? Shout out to John thinking he can beat me. Is that what you do?
Hey, no, not
Is that
at
how you
all.
laugh?
No,
Is
not
that how
at
you
all.
do your
No,
intro?
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
Anyways, we'll talk about it next week because I'm
Ain't nothing
sure
to talk about. I already got the
you
win.
put on video. Okay, fine. We'll see.
John, man, your team is garbage. You can't even be bad intention. Shout out Josh.
All right, UFC coming up this week. Israel Adesanya and Forrest Whitaker. They're gonna go at it. Middleweight championship on the line. That's gonna be a great fight. Great UFC. Anything else over the weekend to watch besides the NBA? I mean, the MLB playoffs.
That's all that matters right now. Because guess what, Houston? We taking it back.
Yeah.
Everybody give their thumbs up because Houston Astros are about to win another championship. Playoffs start Friday. Let's go. Rays, Athletics, we don't give a damn. We just want to win the ring. Let's go. We're taking all the awards.
All right, we out.
Yup.
Peace.
Thank you for joining us. This has been the Sports Trap Podcast. My name is John Trapp. This is Christopher Rodriguez. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, @the Sports Trap. Check us out on Google Play, iTunes,
Speak your truth, John.
Spotify, and also watch us right here on YouTube. Thank you so much. We out.